And I ain't gon' lie, got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple. And I ain't gon' lie, got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple.
Hit up Sally, I'm like, fire, what we doing today? Fuck these other niggas, bro, they wanna ride the wave. Rockstar lifestyle every night and day. And my feelings about some shit, so I get high today. Girl, if I give you my heart, will you drive away? Can you stay with me? I'm numb to pain. Love your vibe, you make me nervous, wanna run away. You be on my mind, I hit you up today.
And I ain't gon' lie, I got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple.
And I ain't gon' lie, I got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple.
Post-traumatic stress, I feel like Steven Tyler. Push back to the face, going off the wire, no liar. Really be smoking that fire, keep that spinning like tires. Don't want your girl, I don't like her, okay? Hey, fuck it, I'd rather let you talk. I got that slide like the moonwalk. She told me she loved me, I told her don't love me too hard. We pulling up in like 2 cars, I'm finna stop in like 2 bars. I got this sound like a Mozart, I got the gas like a go-kart.
Sometimes I wish I seen a shooting star. No, I wouldn't wish for fancy cars. Better days, wish I could be a bird so I can fly away.
And I ain't gon' lie, I got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple. And I ain't gon' lie, I got some issues. Post-traumatic stress from all the shit I've been through. And I ain't gon' lie, I really miss you. And it get harder, in this life, girl, it ain't simple.
Oh yeah, you are tuned into the BU Radio Network, and you at the right place at the right time, listening to the right show. We got the right host, interviewing the right guests, only for the right listeners. And if you are listening with your boy, you are most definitely the right listener, and we appreciate you listening. Welcome to That's My Producer. I go by the name of I Am Natrell. I know what y'all thinking. Y'all like, man, ain't your show on Thursdays? Well, for special people, we do special things. So we got a special guest that we're going to bring here in a little bit. A couple things. I just want to throw some things out there. We got a spot here for you if you're doing your podcast, if you're doing your radio show. We got a place right here at the network for you. If you're looking for some green screen work, you're looking for some studio time, we got a place right here at the network for you. You know what I'm saying? Hit us in the inbox, got all that information right down there. And we're going to get into some music today. You know what I'm saying? I got this this dope group, man, gospel group called Forgiven. This is their joint, Finally Free, and we're going to get back and we're going to introduce y'all to the guests. Let's go.
How does it feel? Go ahead and just keep it real. Yeah. Cause you finally free, yeah. How does it feel? Yeah. No more bondage. Yeah. No more bondage. Yeah. You're finally free, yeah. Lord, I wanna say thank you for all the things that you brought me through. This year was the hardest. The devil tried to put me back where I started, but you can get me like that just so easy. My God, he's got my back, keeps on fighting. He'll never leave me like that, never blinded. He's always fighting for me, no more bondage.
Cast out sickness, strongholds, disease, all the things not of him and my God. We must believe I'm finally free. Yeah.
God, we thank you right now because we are finally free. Because the Bible says, who the Son sets free is truly free indeed. No more shackles. You said no more chains. For we are free to worship you. And we thank you because we're finally.
How does it feel? Go ahead and just keep it real. Cause you finally free, yeah. How does it feel, yeah? No more bondage, yeah. No more bondage, yeah. You're finally free, yeah. How does it feel? Go ahead and just keep it real. Cause you finally free, yeah. How does it feel, yeah? No more bondage, no more bondage, yeah. You're finally free, yeah.
You already know what it is, man. Welcome back to That's My Producer. We're going to jump straight into this thing, man. We don't want to prolong the time. We're going to get in and get out today. You know what I'm saying? But I want to welcome Mr. Hector. DJ CO1 is in the building. Let's do this, man. How you feeling?
What's good? I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey, man, I'm doing real well, man. First of all, I want to say thank you, man, for taking the time out to come and have some conversation with us, man. I try to do things where we educate, you know, the community. There's a lot of us that want to DJ and want to get out here and make moves. You making some pretty big moves, my guy. Like some pretty, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I've been in the business for a long time. That's the thing about it. You know, you got to keep the grind going for so long. It doesn't just happen overnight. So that's the part about it, you know?
Exactly. Man. So let's start by telling them exactly who you are.
All right.
Who's Hector?
So my alias is obviously DJ CO1. At this point in time, you know, I'm a little bit older than most of the DJs here in town, so I just go by Hector. People ask me why. I sometimes go back to Hector, which is my real name, and I'm like, well, when people sign the checks, they sign them to Hector.
Yeah.
so it's just as important. But no, so here in Vegas, I'm the APD and the MD. So in radio language, basically, I coordinate and run the music for Q100.5, the throwback station in town.
Yeah.
And for 98.5 KOUC, which is the top 40 station in town. So,
wow.
So I'm on the radio 10 to 2, Monday through Friday on Q100.5. And I also do the mix shows. And part of that's like my regular job, like my real job.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously I hustle a lot of things on the side, you know, with DJing. And so I DJ for the UNLV Rebels for football and basketball. And I'm the Raider and the DJ for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow. So that's a big major move right there, especially DJing for the Raiders. How is that?
You know what? It is amazing. Like when people hear that, you know, I DJ for the Raiders, like, yeah, it does sound great. And it's an amazing accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. Like people don't realize like how much work is put in, how much strategy, how much editing, how much in the moment, situational moments you go through. So it's you know, it's definitely work, and it's I'm glad I'm in that position at this point in time because I've done it at so many other different levels. But it's you know, for me, it's another step into continuing to move forward.
I'm pretty sure it's like a lot of red tape to it too, huh?
You know, just like anything else, you know, a lot of things are driven by either rules or regulations, like by the NFL, just in general, and a lot of it also by the team and you know, players and fan driven. So there's a lot to it, and again, it's fun, but it is work, obviously. So
no doubt. Well, let's start from the top. Let's start all the way from the top, man. What made you get into like music, period?
So I'm 45. I'll be 46 this year. And when I first started just in music in general, I just graduated from high school. So this was back in 94. I, you know, went straight to college, and at the same time, I'm like, yo, you know, I got to get a job. Well, I already had one job, and I'm like, you know, I really like music. A lot of my friends started to get into music and DJing and vinyl records back then.
Uh-huh.
I know it sounds crazy when people are like, "Oh, vinyl records back then," but at that point, that was the media type, right? It was vinyl and cassettes and all that. So I got into it. I'm born and raised in Southern California, so I'm driven by a very active media market, a radio market. Being like Los Angeles being the main, the main component at that point, right? So I was born and raised on a lot of great radio and a lot of great DJs and people who are very iconic at this point in time. So when I started going to college, one of my friends had already bought like a pair of turntables and I'm like, yo, I want to do that too. Like, it sounds fun and I love music in general, all genres. I'm probably one of the most eclectic people that you're ever going to meet, like going from R&B to funk to house music to 70s disco. I mean, everything, 50s Motown, oldies. I mean, I can go through the whole spectrum of genres and music types. And I just got into it. I had a part-time job. Most of my money from that used to go to purchases of records and, just vinyl pieces. And I got into it and slowly but surely, I just kept recording mixtapes.
Yeah.
And, as many of us know who are either in the music industry, recording or anything of that sort, that now it's so much easier to jump on anything digital and record, like any kid can buy a $45 microphone and record into their iMac or their MacBook Pro or whatever. In our day, back in the late 90s, you had to do it on cassette tape or you had like a really standardized Windows machine back then, and
oh my goodness,
and it was expensive. It was way more expensive than it is now. Now for $100, you're rocking and rolling, you're recording whatever work.
I don't know if you remember the 4-track tape recorders.
I do remember the 4-track tape recorders. I didn't use a 4-track tape recorder. I used a 4-track mini disc recorder. Remember when Sony released the mini disc and it only had a little bit of a lifespan, a couple of years, but it was amazing. Yeah. So I mean, to be honest with you, I just kept grinding. I've never stopped. I've always had multiple jobs. I've always had multiple, just lanes to try to accomplish things with. Yeah. And one of them was with music and radio. And one of my mixtapes actually was handed over to a great friend of mine who got me into Reno radio at one point. And I ended up not necessarily national syndication, but it was to the point where I was recording my mixes in Orange County in Southern California, and then I was sending them over to Reno, and they would get played on the weekends. So that's essentially how I got my feet wet and feet into radio. Wow. And it went from 1 hour a week to 2 hours a week to 4 hours a week to eventually I ended up moving to Vegas about 17 years ago. And I got word that one of the local radio stations, which is 98.5, was hiring. They wanted to hire one more DJ. And I'm telling you, man, when I'm telling you that when I put my foot forward, I keep moving. I don't stop. So they wanted me to drop off a demo CD. And at this point now, we've moved on to CDs. This is like 2005 or whatever. So I recorded a CD at my house, and instead of taking it to the station where it would get lost by handing it to the front receptionist, I actually paid the $35 to FedEx it from North Las Vegas to where the station was on Sahara. And that way I could guarantee myself that FedEx folder with the mixtape would end up on the right person's desk. And it did. Wow. And I got called back like 2 days later, and everything was very magical for me that year. It was 2008 because my son was born, and 2 weeks later I got hired at the radio station. And ever since then, it's been nothing but work, hard work, and just making moves and being in the position from starting from being the rookie DJ to now essentially running the stations, so.
Wow. So
yeah, but I have my feet in everything.
Man. So it pretty much was like one of those situations. You did a whole bunch of mixtapes. I mean, it's like, hey, somebody finally heard you. You know what I'm saying? And
it's the same way like any artist, any artist who sings, who raps, who does, whatever, background vocals, ad-libs, and they want to get whatever they feel that they're strongest at. You can't just make one demo. You know what I'm saying? You can't just put out one demo one time. You got to put out one demo and put it out 10 times, or you got to put out 10 demos and put it out 100 times. It always got to multiply. You always got to be consistent. You guys, you just can't stop hustling. You got to keep moving. No one, as much as people would magically think that someone would find your CD and go, oh, look at that, this is awesome, and they'll call you up and they'll say you're the next whatever, you're the next Miguel, you're the next 2 Chains, whatever artist is. That's not the case. You've always got to keep hustling. So
Wow. So what would you say was your first DJing gig when you knew, hey, you know what, I might be able to do this for a living?
yeah, so again, I was kind of mimicking and shadowing one of my friends who was more involved into it at that point in time, when I was still trying to get my I guess just my experiences aligned with learning at the same time. I knew my first experiences were not going to be perfect, right? Even to this day, nothing's essentially perfect. So I was trying to balance everything out with getting to learn music, getting to learn counts, getting to learn bars, how to mix, what music goes right with each other. And my first gig was in the backyard. It was a backyard boogie. That's what I'm so proud of them. Backyard boogies, man. In Southern California. Back then, house music was big, and so was funk and old school. So, you were playing anything from Steve Arrington, Zap, Gap Band, and then you'd get right into like, the Bad Boy Bills of the world. So the range was so massive. The spectrum of music was so massive. And it was one of the things that I really appreciate, because it allowed me to grow, being open-minded about all types of music. And I remember that backyard party. I probably only spun like 10, 15 records. It was the quickest set of my life because I was so nervous.
Oh, wow.
And it just went from there to the point where I worked hard enough to buy my own pair of turntables, which are, you can't see it right now, but my studio, I have my turntables right next to me. Same pair that I've had since 1990, 7, 98.
Wow.
So,
is that the same ones that you still use? Or you
same exact ones that I use every single day to do my radio shows here in Vegas. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing.
Crazy. I just picked up DJing maybe about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And my first gig was a backyard boogie.
Yeah, they always are. Those are the most fun ones, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I had a good time. It kind of helped me learn my chops. You know what I'm saying? Because, people request stuff on the fly, and to, get that quick request and then having to slide it in and blend it and make sure that it, the party doesn't stop. For me, that was a challenge.
Yeah, the difference, Natrado, the difference now is that when you want to switch up a song, you have access to it like that, right?
Yeah.
All MP3 digital. Yep. In my day, when I had to switch up a song, that's why DJs, I always tell people about DJing, like, if you're going to be flashy and do all your crap and pretend that you're bougied out and Gucci'd out and you're trying to look good, and then you're out there DJing and you're faking it till you're making it, but then you're taking pictures on the turntables and your nails are all jacked up. That's what everybody pays attention to, right? To DJs, you're DJing on the turntables and your nails are all eaten up and you don't pay attention. That just means you don't pay attention to yourself. Anyhow, but back then, the reason why I'm pointing it out is because for someone these days to switch up a song, like if you know that it doesn't sound right and you got to switch it up, you can switch it up within 20 seconds. Back then, you hit a turnaround, dig in the vinyl, and you would dig like this, right? So the vinyl, the top piece of the vinyl would always burn out your cuticles. They would cut you. So half of your stuff, you would always bleed.
Wow.
From your cuticles, because they would, you stick your fingers to dig, so the top of the vinyl covers would cut your cuticles and you'd bleed from your fingers. And yeah, man, it's all the little things. So
it's crazy. Yep. It's crazy how it works because I'm an audio engineer by trade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I do for a living. And running a studio back then and running the studio now is totally different.
Night and day. Yeah, absolutely.
And so the work that we used to have to put into one record, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Would take hours upon hours, even producing, you know what I'm saying?
Well, even like doing right chops, like doing chops and doing all that stuff. Yeah.
If you wasn't a musician, you really wasn't a producer back then. You know what I'm saying? Because back then, you played your own loops. You played your own, you had to do stuff like that. Or you had to hire a musician to come in and play a part or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And now you can pay $50 and you can get 1,000 loops. And then you can go and throw some drums on it. And you're a producer now.
I know, it's insane. And that's the thing about it. It's a catch-22. I definitely don't hate on people who do that, because they essentially have to be more innovative. You know, they have to really challenge themselves to take a generalized loop that you and I can use, but they have to
Yeah.
make it their own, right? So
Yeah.
but it's also the flip side of that sword is that then someone like you and I who've been around the block for a long time, who've put in some, blood, sweat, and tears to
Yeah.
really understand how to chop a beat up and make something, produce something up. It takes a little bit harder work. So
Yeah.
it's always a double-edged sword. I know a lot of people, like people my age, again, I'm 45. I'm 20 years older than most of the guys who are trying to be superstars on the strip. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's why I take a lot of pride in my hard work, because as long as you don't stop, something great's going to happen for you. And
Yeah.
I just think that lessons need to be learned, both ways, both by younger people starting up and then older people being innovative and they themselves, appreciating like technology and the way stuff works now. You got to move with the times.
Wow. What was that first gig that you had that you was like, you know what? I'm on. Like I'm a DJ right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was a couple locations back home in Orange County that used to throw major house parties with big headliners, and for the house music community, like well, now they call it EDM. Back then it was called house music, or like filtered disco music. But people need to understand that back then, like in the late 90s, the internet didn't necessarily exist, right? And if it did, it was like by dial-up with AOL. So you really didn't know what the vibe of house music was in like Chicago or New York, because people didn't really travel for that part of it, or you couldn't really sign on to Twitch and see what the guy in New York is doing today or do whatever, right? So for me, we had a really close tight community in Orange County, and I remember one day, I forget it was in Anaheim. No, excuse me, it was in Fullerton. It was like Commonwealth in Fullerton, when it was like the first event that I ever did with this group of people. It was a crew. Essentially, I was part of a crew that was called Notable Creations, and we had 3 DJs. And they finally put me on, and we must have had like 800 plus people on there, and that's the first time that I was like, "Yo, like I'm
Wow.
not only am I rocking, but I'm controlling 800 bodies to dance." So it's a
Yeah.
sense of accomplishment and a sense of of like essentially what is the result of hard work. So
Wow.
but
Wow. So let me ask you this. Do you
yeah,
still get the same excitement that you got back then now?
I get it every single day, literally every day that
Wow.
I wake up. It doesn't matter. I by no means am a like super rock star or DJ. Yes, I've been around the block, and I'm able to communicate with a lot of great ones, and yeah, I'm an old school guy. Like I've been around for a long time, and I have great influence. But I'll tell you this: even like a Jazzy Jeff, like these premier DJs, right? You see their excitement every time. They can play the same song over and over every single day, or every single time that they do their set, and you can see their excitement. And I have that sense, the same sense every single time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me what I'm playing. Every single day I do a mix show on the radio, and the minute I play the first record, it's like it's on, and we on
Yeah.
again. And I don't want to say it's nervousness anymore. It's overly excited, of what
Yeah.
I'm doing, because I'm grateful that I can get paid and entertain and do something as fun and as amazing as this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah, I get excited every single day.
It's crazy. I mean, you all of the power is really in your hand. Like you determine if people are going to have fun that night, or if they're going to like be
Now,
upset and whole nine.
and I learned that in a whole different manner and at a whole different level and scope when I started DJing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
You go into Allegiant Stadium. Allegiant Stadium holds over 65,000 people.
Ooh.
I'm playing for over 65,000 fans. If I play the wrong song, they'll let you know it.
Oh yeah.
If I play the right song, they'll let you know it. You have to be in the moment. Obviously, whether you're a football fan or not, people understand that everything is situational. What's happening, like there, you could have a touchdown, you can have a turnover, you can have a fumble, you can have a lot of things going on, and you've got to be prepared, and you've got to be 5 steps ahead of everything and everybody. But that now playing music for over 65,000 people. Now that's nervousness and excitement, all in one. So,
have you ever done an event that maybe was a little bit more challenging, like say you played the hottest of the hottest songs that you know that are the party starters, but they didn't get that particular party started? Was there any events?
You know, that happens all the time still, but that's the reason why if you're someone who's been around the block for a long time, you're always prepared. You know, and that's what I mean. Like even for like stadium music, you've always got to be 5 steps ahead of everybody. Yo, I know that I'm about to play Megan Stallion or Body Adi Adi or freaking Cardi B or something, right? I'm at the joint, I'm at the club, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So you know what you got to go back to? You got to go back to like Nelly Hot in Here.
Yeah.
You got to go back to like Humpty Dance, and then you flip it back in that same tempo. Then you come back to the new stuff, then you come back to the Cardi B's of the world. You just got to work your way around the energy of the room, what you're obviously putting out. You're going to get back what you put out, right? So I think a lot of it has to do with just experience and knowing how to read a room and how to understand a crowd and just knowing who your audience is. I do a lot of nights here at Brooklyn Bowl. I do 90s night, 80s night, R&B night. And if I see that it's a more Mexican urban crowd or whatever, you bet I'm gonna play more Gap Band instead of more Madonna for 80s night. You know what I'm saying? It only makes sense, right? So you just got to be right. You got to be right with it. You got to understand what the right songs are, and there's always that that good chunk of music that is always basically a party starter. So you've always got to be prepared. Just being prepared.
How do you prepare for like say you doing a club event? And I know you already have, since years in the game, you already have a library of music and stuff. But do you have it like set up where you put a different genre in different folders, or how do you do that?
Yeah, the way I divide music is I basically start with the genre. So for now, like let's say I'll start with top 40. I'll have top 40, and then I'll have hip hop, which are the two major genres, right? Unless you're gonna do EDM. But for the most part, you go to a club, the club's gonna be jumping if it's top 40 or hip hop. In between those two folders, you're gonna have some crossover music, right? You're gonna have like The Baby and Dua Lipa with Levitating. Yeah. That song could go either way. It could sway either hip hop during a hip hop set, or it could sway during a top 40 set. Regardless, that's one of those songs that'll bond both genres together, and it's a party banger. Women are gonna love it. And here's the bottom line: whenever you go to a party, if the ladies are vibing, the club is gonna be vibing. So that's usually your general audience for the most part, and that's even how radio for the most part is based as well. So when I divide my folders, I'll do like hip hop, and then I'll divide it into different subfolders. But like, let's say the hip hop, I'll do current hip hop, and then I'll do hip hop by decade. So 2010s, 2000s, 90s, 80s, like that.
Wow. Oh,
but you always know which ones are the bangers out of every single decade.
That's what. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So for up and coming artists that are looking for opportunities to get, a DJ to spin some of their music and, test it out in a club or whatever, how can they, go through that process and get their music played?
So there's a couple of ways. Number one is don't let your attitude dictate, who you truly are, because some people are really cocky and conceited. Yo, here, play my shit. Pardon, I don't know if I can curse on here.
No, you can curse. You good.
But it's like, yo, play my song. It's dope. Well, it's dope to you because you made it, but you got to wait and see what the mass audience thinks. And a lot of people, believe it or not, like a lot of people come super heavy at me, like, yo, you got to play this, you got to play that, and I'm like, I don't have to do shit. I don't have to play nothing.
Absolutely.
So your approach, that first impression still has a lot of weight. It holds a lot of weight. It has a lot of value. So that's one thing. That's the first thing about it. Your approach makes a big difference on introduction and how someone's going to develop rapport with you. The second part is, as an artist, especially independent artist, be prepared. And by being prepared, meaning provide a clean version, provide a dirty version, which essentially is the original version, and provide a DJ friendly version, which essentially it's the song with like 8 bars of instrumental at the beginning, right? So that I can mix it, right? So I can mix it on the turntables. And a lot of the times, I'll be very honest with you, if someone presents me with a USB stick or they send me like a Dropbox folder or something like that, and there's no DJ friendly version in there, I'm gonna be honest with you. 90% of the time, I'm not even gonna play it because I'm not gonna put in the work that you should have put in for your own song to create a DJ version of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um,
Another DJ put me onto it, and I think they're called DJ packs.
Yeah, DJ packs. That's exactly what they are. They're DJ packs, which essentially it's the original version, a clean version, maybe the instrumental. The instrumental is not essential for me because if you give me a DJ friendly intro version, I'll be able to mix it when I'm DJing, on turntables.
Yeah.
So, and that essentially is your DJ pack. Yeah. So that's the thing. The other part of it is obviously you got to talk to the right people, and a lot of people don't know who the right people are, and that's in all fairness. I understand that. Because not just anybody, I'm not just going to give anybody my real email or my real cell phone number, right? But again, if your approach is like if you and I met up at a social function or whatever, or you know that I'm DJing somewhere and you're like, yo, what's up, man? My name is Natrell. I got this music, if you can give it some time, I'll be like, yo, of course. Yeah. And I'll take your music and I'll legitimately give it some time to listen to, so the approach to be, again, I'm old school, man. I'm still a handshake kind of guy. I'm good to meet you kind of guy. I'm not trying to be flashy. I mean, I don't, to be very honest with you right now, Natrell, I'm going to tell you, like, I randomly do video podcasts because I feel that you see all my plaques behind me. I feel that they feel flashy.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be like, I'll do an audio podcast all day because you don't have to see nothing in my house.
Yeah.
But I feel like I didn't put the camera here on purpose because I want you to see that. This just happens to be my loft office. You know what I'm saying? This is what makes me comfortable.
But we want to see it. But we want to see it. I mean, you put in years of work. You know what I'm saying? So behind you is all of the years and all of the nights that where everybody else was asleep, you was on the tables, and all of the time that you spent away from your family learning your craft. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the humility in it, but at the same time, I mean, you made that crown. You know what I'm saying? You made the crown, and I think one thing for me, when I meet people and they know their craft, and they speak from a standpoint of wisdom. Because when I talk to you, just right out the gate, the first 5 seconds that I jumped on this app with you, you know what I'm saying? I seen the wisdom right out the gate, just how you spoke, you know what I'm saying? How you sat there patiently, you know what I'm saying? And
look, here's the bottom line. Again, I'm telling you, I'm still a first impression handshake kind of guy. I'm old school. Again, I'm not 25, I'm 45. But I'm 45. I tell people, some people try to tease me like, yo, like people aspire to do what you're doing. And I'm grateful that they say that, in the sense that understand that I'm not 25. It took me this long to accomplish all this. You know what I'm saying? But it's in essence, well, my point to all of this is that yes, I'm going to sit here patiently, because if you're willing to share your time with me, I'm willing to share mine. And people say it's the most common thing, and at least the way I was brought up, when I go DJ for 4 hours at a club, you're not paying me to DJ for 4 hours. You're paying me the value of my time for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right. My time is the valuable part of it, not my skill. My skills just happen to be what I'm doing. But so you have to be respectful in the, essentially in the same form in which, again, you get back what you give, and you're willing to sit here and chat it up and get to know me. I want to sit here and chat it up and get to know you as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It makes no sense to be disrespectful and be up here and be like, don't you know who I am? Like, fuck this. Like, I don't got time. It doesn't work that way. I'm more than grateful to have opportunities like this. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely appreciate, all the information that you've given us. What was one of your fears that you had as a DJ? Like in the beginning?
Rocking the mic.
Or even now.
Well, not now, not anymore.
Okay.
My biggest fear, there's a couple of things now. Back in the day, doing the turntable thing was it, right? If you were a turntablist, you're a turntable guy. Then it was always two turntables and a microphone, right? A turntable guy, and then the MC rocking the spot. Now it's different, man. This is a whole new era. Now the turntable guy is the MC also. So one of my biggest fears was not being comfortable enough to be on a microphone, but now, my biggest fear became my biggest gain. My biggest fear became who I am and what I thrive on, which is being on the radio. I went from not,
Wow.
being a little bit scared to be on the microphone to speaking to 500,000 people on the radio every single day. And, it's, you've got to conquer it. You know what I'm saying? You got to come at your biggest fear the hardest. And I think that's kind of what made me change my whole mentality of who I am at this point.
Wow. Now, do you have like a ritual or something that you do before you go jump on the stage?
You know what? I yo, I'm telling you, I'm probably one of the most eclectic people when it comes to music. It doesn't matter what the gig is that I'm doing. There's two things. I will always drive to the spot unless I'm taking like an Uber, and if I am taking an Uber, because I know it's gonna be a long night and I don't want to drive. I listen to like super smooth R&B before almost every single gig, like just to chill me out, because I know that puts me in my zone, and it makes me realize who I truly am and why I fell in love with music, which is that original R&B from the 90s, man. Like I'll listen to Jodeci, Shy, Maxwell, Mary J. I'll listen to that all day right before a gig, because it reminds me why I fell in love with music. It mellows me out, and it just puts me in a whole different zone. I mean, it's honestly, I don't have any crazy rituals other than that just to mellow myself out.
One of my rituals, I don't know if I could call it a ritual, but something that I do right before I perform, total silence.
Okay.
I'll go find somewhere where nobody is, and I'm by myself. And
so is it like true meditation or just reflection, or what?
Just meditation, just going over my material, just thinking of words to say, and just spending time by myself and just getting my mind right.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I set foot on that stage, like I'm a totally different person. I find that every time that I just go straight to the stage, you know what I'm saying, I find myself the first couple of songs trying to get myself in the zone. You know what I'm saying? But when I meditate right before and just think about what I'm getting ready to do, then once I hit that stage, I already got everything thought out. You know what I'm saying? And I know exactly what I'm going to say to open it up. I know, how I'm going to get everybody involved. I know which people in the crowd is going to be, you know what I'm saying?
You know who you're going to feed off of to make that party even more hype when you need them.
Exactly.
I know.
It's like, I see y'all over there. That's going to be my target until I get everybody else,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, moving. And man, what things do you do now to kind of keep your chops together and keep yourself like on your top game?
I literally practice. I want to say almost 90% of the time. I still practice every single day. I'm very involved. I have an advantage of working in radio, so I have the advantage of always staying fresh with new music and always keeping my throwbacks and all those good hits in the back of my head. So I keep fresh in that sense. I like to though go out and kind of like I love going on Twitch and seeing like what's this guy playing, why is he playing it, when is he playing it. All that stuff really comes into play, especially when you're out trying to make create a vibe at whatever location you're at.
I'm hearing, I've been hearing, like I've had a couple DJs on the show, and Twitch must be really big for like DJs right now.
It is now. I mean, at the beginning, it all became bigger during pandemic because IG, you try to go on IG live and IG would shut you down after you played like 2 songs that were registered, right? And Twitch lets you slide by with it, and you can it's like a platform to develop an audience and so forth. But again, I'm so much busier with so many different things, but some of my enjoyment comes from going and checking out other DJs, and not in no way in a comparison level where I'm like, oh, I should be doing that, or he's better than this, or I'm better than that.
Yeah.
More in the sense of entertainment and knowing what's up. You're not everywhere. You can't be everywhere. So you've got to get the feedback from other different DJs, right? And again, when a lot of people try to give me music to listen to for radio consideration, I actually do sit here and I'll be like, okay, let me go ahead and hit play on that. And I'll give that person the 3.5 minutes of respect and listening time.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that. I got some stuff I'm gonna be sending you.
All good.
Missy, you heard that, right? We gonna be sending. No, I appreciate knowing that because I met a DJ. You know, I won't say no names, but I met a DJ that I gave a flash drive to.
Okay.
He was like, "What is this for?" And I said, "Well, I have some music on there." And I was like, "You know what? If you'll just take a quick listen, if you ain't feeling it in the first couple of seconds, then you don't worry." You know what I'm saying? But if it hits, you know what I'm saying? If you could spin that for me, you know. And he was like, "Look, man, I don't take no less than 100 to spin somebody's song."
Oh, damn.
I was like, "What?"
Well, first of all, if it's a radio DJ, that's illegal. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, this was at a club.
Like at a club? Okay.
At a club, but he was getting ready to go up. You know what I'm saying? So they had switch computers around and stuff like that. And you know, I went to him real quick. I had talked to him prior to getting there. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Look, man, I got my flash drive, boom, boom, boom." He said, because I asked him, like, you know, do you play new music? Boom, boom, boom. You know, local talent. He was like, "Yeah, I do." So I was like, "All right, perfect." So I came through, brought my music, you know, had it on the flash drive, professional, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I linked up with him. I said, "Hey, my name's Natrell. I talked to you on the phone. You know what I'm saying? I got my flash drive. I wanted to see, you know, if you'll spin it." You know, I said, "If you ain't feeling it when you first hear it, look, you know, it's all good."
Yeah, it's all good. That's the whole reason why you're going to give it a chance, not, you know, you're not committing to it. You just want to hear it.
He said, "Man, I don't spend nothing for no less than 100.
Yeah, don't tell me who it was because I don't want to go check people.
Yeah, man. I'll keep it. But that kind of changed my perspective.
Look, man, I've been around the block. I know who everybody is in town. Everybody knows who I am in town when it comes to that community. Yeah. I'm super grateful to say that I'm one of the OGs and one of the guys who've been around longer. But look, I'm gonna give you one quick experience.
Yeah.
There's this guy who's got a brand new song. He's got a couple mixtapes already. He's got a brand new song. It's called Swimming Pools.
Yeah.
Oh, word up. Okay. Yo, can I bring him to you? Oh, who is it? It's this guy. He goes by K Dot. Oh, yeah, I'll spend some time with him. You know who K Dot is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right there. This way. It's Kendrick Lamar.
Exactly.
That's happened to me many, many times with different people. Like, you don't know who's next. You don't know what's up and coming. You don't know who's going to have an opportunity. You don't know who's going to blow up as the next artist and might come back to you and go, "Yo, can you be my DJ while I tour?" You don't know who's going to put food on your table the next time around. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to, yes, you can say no. Absolutely, you can say no. But again, I don't know, man. I just come from the old school. I'm willing to give you a smile and in a friendly way say no versus saying, "Look, it's all business," because it's not all business all the time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is mutual respect, mutual friends.
Exactly.
You know, one day you might be the DJ at the club. The next day you may be the DJ trying to even get into the club when the guy who you dissed is the guy performing at the club. Like, you just never know.
Absolutely.
You just never know.
Do you ever allow, like, for understudies, like people to shadow you or stuff like that?
Okay, I'll be very honest with you. I used to when I had time. Now, man, I and again, I'm super grateful to you guys for allowing me to come on here on a Tuesday. But man, my weeks, I live literally week by week because, we were talking off air this week. I'm doing the Raiderettes tryouts on Saturday. I have an event on Friday.
What exactly are the Raiderettes?
The Raiderettes is the Raider cheerleaders.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing their tryouts on Saturday. By the way, anybody who's watching this, they've extended the signups till the 14th. So if you want to be a Raiderette.
Wow.
Then I have brunch. I do R&B brunch at Park on Fremont on Sundays in the morning, so I play brunch that. And then next week, I have like 2 private events. Then I have like a radio station event. Then at the end of the month, it's NFL draft week, so the NFL is going to do the draft here. So I'm DJing on behalf of the Raiders for the NFL experience for 3 days. I mean, I wish I had the time, but to be very honest with you, once again, if I do have time, I allocate that time to the guy that's behind that door right there. That's my son. You know, he's about to be 14.
Definitely.
You know, I need to spend as much dad son time as possible.
Absolutely.
He's about to go to high school. You know, I'm trying to be someone he can count on and trust and you know, be a good influence for him. And
that's respectful. That's respectful. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of times we get lost in work. You know what I'm saying? We got families, and I'm the same way. You know, sometimes I spend hours upon hours in the studio, and you know, I have to just take a step back. Like, all right, look, I'm gonna stay home today. You know what I'm saying? And
no, exactly. And that's what I thought I was gonna do. Yeah, that's what I thought I was going to do that this week because it's spring break week, and I finally had the opportunity to, you know, sit here and chat it up with you guys. So that's why I took advantage of this. Thank goodness. But yeah, you know, I'm just trying to be like, you know, so you have to balance business, even personal time, and then, you know, obviously my family. You know, it's like the challenge for this Sunday. Do I go DJ R&B brunch? Or do I stay here and celebrate Easter?
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So that's like the flip of the coin that I have to kind of go through.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you acknowledge that and acknowledge, hey, look, I wear multiple hats, so sometimes I got to take one hat off, and it might be the fun hat. It might be the hat that. Look,
you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. You know what's one thing socially and social wise that I'm completely against is. You know, a lot of people on either Instagram or Twitter or whatever, they call themselves, they consider themselves influencers, right? Yeah. I'm an influencer. Look at me. I've got 1 million followers. I'm an influencer. You know what I tell people? If you want to be a real influencer, influence your kids. Influence your son or daughter to be a great person. If you're a teacher and you're influencing, you're a bigger influencer than the people on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like those are influencers, not, you know, anyhow.
Yeah, shout out to all the teachers.
Yes.
We got a teacher here at the station. Shout out to Mika Mo. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I get an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to see her in action with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's a gift. You have to have a special gift to deal with some of these new kids, the new generation kids. Like, you got to have a special gift. You know.
See, I come from. Look, the security guard is going to smack you down if you're not, you know, on time to class. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I grew up on. Like, I'm not trying to be okay, you're going to get your phone out and record me all day, but I'm be on your ass. You know,
exactly. Now I come from the day where we get paddled. You know what I'm saying? You get those 3 swipes, and then the principal used to say, "This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you." I mean, hit you with that bop.
Yeah, that's when you know it's for real.
Yeah. So it's a different day. It's a different day.
And it's unfortunate. That's what I'm saying. The real influencers are you and I as parents. That's the real influencers. It's our fault that the kids are such pussies.
Yeah, true.
And everyone's crying and look at me, don't touch me. No, man, like that's why we've got the wrong influencers out in this world right now.
Yeah. They think that you know, it's fame to pick up a camera and throw a whole bunch of you know, Instagram posts and TikTok.
So crazy.
But yeah,
I know.
you can't influence your own kids. Yeah, you definitely you know, you're not doing no justice to what it is that we need in this world, in this country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man. So what other gigs you got coming up, bro?
Shoot. I don't know. I have a couple of spots at a couple nights at Brooklyn Bowl coming up. Right now I'm just focused on my brunch on Sundays. I have a few private parties, and I'm just very involved in sports. So I'm trying to wait and see what else is coming up from Raiders and what else might be happening at Allegiant Stadium. UNLV's. I only do UNLV football and basketball, so basketball season is over. But I did UNLV for about 6 years, like when UNLV was the only sport here in town, when UNLV basketball was like the major sport. And then I took a hiatus for three or 4 years. Then I started doing UNLV again 2 years ago. So, I just, have a bunch of private events and some stuff coming up. But I just trying to stay busy.
I hear that. So we're gonna have to get ready to wrap this thing up.
All good.
Took a lot of your time today, and I appreciate.
Oh, we're good, man. I'm chilling.
Spending time with us, man. But I definitely want to, honor the fact that you want to spend some time with your son and the whole nine like that. But real quick, advice for DJs that's coming. What would you tell us?
Oh man, that's easy. I love it when people ask me that. What's your advice for people? What's your advice? It's easy. Don't stop. Don't stop. You know how many times I wanted to be like, I'm just gonna go back to IT work. I'm just gonna go back and finish my masters or finish whatever. I'm just gonna stop DJing. I don't want to do this anymore. It's happened multiple times, but I never stopped. Whether I was tired, exhausted, stressed, I just never stopped. And again, my biggest point to it is that I see a lot of 20, 25-year-olds, who are trying to be the next big DJ. And in essence, if you think that it's going to happen within your first year or two and you quit, then that's on you. But if you don't stop, things come. So
absolutely,
that's honestly it. Just don't stop, no matter how hard or easy it is.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice, man. So, man, definitely appreciate your time. Appreciate the energy that you brought, the education that you brought, man. And we're gonna stay in contact with you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple months later, bring you back. You know what I'm saying? Find out
absolutely.
Your moves, you know what I'm saying? And maybe get it. I know. I want to start like a kind of like a DJ circle for up and coming DJs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where
let me know.
Some of the guys that's been in the game and that's got some wisdom for us can come and drop it here at the station. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
Appreciate you, bro. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, really quick. I just want to say what's up to everybody who's either come through here, been on the chat, have commented, because again, nobody has to be here. Nobody is told or forced to be a part of this show or come listen to two people talk. So the appreciation is likewise, and just big up to everybody.
Absolutely. Real quick, how can people get in contact with you?
On Instagram, it's on here on the screen. You can see it. It's at DJCO1. That is an acronym for something that means a lot to me in the past. So at DJCO1 on everything. If you want to download like free mixes, I have everything from R&B to Motown to whatever, to classic hip hop. My website is djco1music.com. djco1music.com.
Dope. And we'll put those in the link for the show as well, so people can click on and get in contact with you and follow your movement and stuff like that, man. So
perfect. I appreciate
y'all once again. We're gonna go ahead and get up out this thing. You know what I'm saying? Continue to tune in to the BU Network. Also Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's my show. That's my producer. Make sure y'all tap in with us. Man, we got a couple good shows coming up, you know what I'm saying, in a couple hours. So make sure y'all stay tapped in, and we're going to continue to play music, man. I'm going to drop this song. It's called That's My Brothers from my dude, Icy Jones. Let's get into that, and we out of this thing.
Hell gang hit it. Yeah. Jones, Vegas City. Guns, let go. Hey, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never turn my back on my brother, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never let a sucker talk bad about my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never turn my back on my brother, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never let a sucker talk bad about my brother. Oh, you know we back like a spinal tap. Although we never left like a red rag. Oh, hop in the booth, murder the track, kill. And you know we killed a mic like a toe tag. When it comes to this rap, boy, I'm top tier. No opinion, this fact, make that clear. No cap here, all claps cheers. Make a bet, cash checks, I'm the cashier. 500 each, boy, we made a grand. We ain't have to sell crack, wasn't weighing grams. Before Instagram, Jones and Goods had fans. On the block, selling hard copies hand to hand. That's my brother, that's my brother. Never turn my back on my brother, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never Never let a sucker talk bad about my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never turn my back on my brother, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother, that's my brother. Never let a sucker talk bad about my brother.
I could never switch, stand firm in the trenches with my brother. If he did it, I'd never snitch. Even if you wrong, I'ma stand right next to you, homie. Give a what these on. And you can't catch me with a chick you already bone. She smiling in my face, I'm telling Icy Jones. Loyalty is what it is till I'm dead and gone. It's still senior scholar if you ain't knowing. Reppin' Vegas all night to the early morn. Double cup of yak, and I'm blunt blowing. On the hitty beat, hella outspoken. Me and Icy Jones, we the wave like the ocean.
That's my brother, that's my brother. Never turn my back on my brother, that's my brother.